And the removal of fuel subsidy by President Bola Tinubu and the rising cost of living in the country have continued to generate heated debates in many quarters across the country. In Enugu State, Arise News went out to seek the reactions of the people.
The reactions that greeted the removal of a new pricing regime for fuel in Nigeria is mixed. These people here describe the removal as a step in the right direction, saying that the removal was long overdue since it has eaten deep into the country's economy.
We support the government because the nation cannot continue to subsidize fraud. It is unfortunate that the outgone administration laid such a landmine, but with the rightful mindset and focused leadership, we are certain that the present government will navigate over it.
I am supporting that they should remove it, but there should be a system, a structure, a palliative on ground. Because all this while, and if they will remove it, and we will see the effect, and we will see where the money is being channeled to.
Those who are against the removal are saying that ordinary citizens are the worst hit, following the high cost of living being experienced nationwide.
The common man cannot survive in the next few days to come, because if this inflation affects food, then how can the common man survive? It's only big men that will survive in this country. We are suffering, for goodness sake. Let them help us. Nigeria is not meant for only one particular people. The common people are there. People like us, we are just managing to survive.
A visit to some filling stations in the metropolis operated by major marketers dispense the commodity at between 550 naira and 600 naira per litre.
I'm not feeling well because let me say a month ago, I used to fill this motor with a sum of 13,000 naira because of the subsidy, fuel subsidy now. We are buying, I'm filling this motor in the cost of 25,000 naira, which is not good in this country. And during the inauguration, we were hoping that country will be better for the new president, but things turned around.
At the NNPC mega filling station in the metropolis, where fuel is sold at 520 naira per litre, there is a long queue of motorists.
All right, Ambrose Gboke is the chairman of Enugu State Chapter Guild of Public Affairs Analysts of Nigeria, and he joins us live from Enugu to talk about the quest to enforce the Monday's sit-at-home, to take it back from those actually declaring sit-at-home in Enugu State. Thank you so much for joining us on Newsnight tonight. Well, it does seem satisfactory as far as the governor is concerned. Peter Amba says it was 70% compliance. I mean, him asking the people to go out there, do their business without fear or hindrance. 70% compliance. What are your thoughts about this?
Well, I agree with the governor because for the first time since August 9, 2021, when the sit-at-home started, for the first time, the civil servants in the state came to work. So that is a significant milestone because before now, the secretariat in the Enugu State was being shut. Even access to the government house is being shut, that was barricaded. Markets were shut totally. But for yesterday, we could see that civil servants came to work. The governor himself went around to ensure that the secretariat and some numbers of ministries, departments, and agencies and parastatals were visited yesterday, and they were at work. Although there are still issues of commuters not being able to move at the early hours, but I think gradually that will also come to give way. Some markets were open. We saw markets open in Abakba. We saw some markets open in Gboke. We saw some markets open around. And then the governor going around to is kind of boosted the confidence of the citizens, because before now, what we had was that everywhere is like a silence of the graveyard, nothing works. But people seeing the governor, even moving around also, talking to them, and interacting with them also boosted their belief and their excitement. And so I think it's a good beginning, and we have lost so much in the last months that we kept going to 2 years now. There's a Center for International Investigative Reporting puts it that the Southeast have lost over $12 billion. That is an average of $10 billion per year through this sit-at-home. And when you saw what happened yesterday too, the governor was also out there, and people also came out. A lot of civil servants came out. And I must give it that the security was top-notch. and also from all sides also, even from the side of the people who are grieved, who are trying to enforce. We didn't hear shooting yesterday or like what we used to have before. There was, quiet, there was peace. And this is what we seek in Enugu State. This is what we seek in the Southeast. Because there cannot be economic advancement. There cannot be progress in any society where there's no peace. We cannot have foreign direct investors coming in here in an atmosphere of acrimony and in an atmosphere of unsafety. The people of Enugu have started a good start, and we are hoping that we are going to improve it from here on and ensure that going forward, we have a full advantage of maximizing all the business potential that's available to us and increase our productivity so that we can actually grow our economy, provide jobs for people, and make the state economically substantially, great, and also improve the security of life and property of the citizens of Enugu State.
Ambrose, brilliant submission there. What about economic recovery? The state has lost so much in the last seasons of sit at home. So what economic recovery plans do you suggest to the state?
Now, first of all, we need to create an atmosphere of peace, because any business plan or policy you have and is not anchored in an atmosphere of peace will not actually thrive. So from now, we have to engage, because the investors are looking at us to see how the state is. So the paramount thing to do is what we have started, the progress of ensuring that there's peace, there is safety, and there's security. Once we are able to achieve that, then investors will start trooping in. Enugu State has a lot of potentials. Enugu State is the gateway of those going to the north, from the southeast, from the south-south. Enugu State is the capital of the entire eastern region, all the way to Calabar those days, even then now southeast. So Enugu State is what Lagos is to the southwest, is what Enugu State is to the southeast. Therefore, it holds a lot of potentials: the mineral resources, the human capital development, the vast land, the agriculture. So there are lots to do in Enugu State. So investors are watching us. And that is why I believe the state governor is trying to ensure that the priority of the government is, first of all, to stabilize. Because when the sit-at-home started in the southeast, a lot of business people started migrating to Asaba, moving their warehouses to Asaba from Onitsha and some other parts of the places. Some people from Enugu here will start moving their things to Kogi. So it's not good for the southeast region. So what they are trying to do now is to stabilize it and make it more business conducive. And I think for every Igbo sons and daughter, they will agree to the fact that we need to come out from this conundrum and ensure that we make Southeast what it is, the business hub of Nigeria and the business hub of West Africa. African sub-region come to Southeast to buy spare parts, buy a lot of things. We need to go back to that thriving era. And we can only achieve that through the atmosphere of peace. And that is what we have started. In doing this also, there are grievances, from agitators from here and there. It is also time to sit down, to conciliate, to mediate, and also to negotiate whatever hindrances that may, set us as barriers from attaining these economic heights that we have set for ourselves. Nobody in the Southeast will be happy if you waste all those resources. And that is why voices like even Masob, even IPOB itself has come out to say no sit at home. Even the Bishop of Nsukka, Catholic Bishop of Nsukka has come. Reverend Chukwuma in Anglican Church has come. Youth wing of Ohaneze has come to say it is time for us to sit at whatever the grievances. If you shut down Southeast on Monday, it's not affecting the man in Lagos. It doesn't affect the man in Abuja. It doesn't affect the man in Kano, Kaduna, or Port Harcourt. It is us in the Southeast that is affecting. It is us that we are the ones losing money. We are the ones losing resources. We are the ones, some of our people like that, because they cannot even afford to eat if they don't go out on daily basis. So if we really love ourselves, it's time for us to move forward, because
no doubt.
Closing this will not,
if
work.
I may come in very quickly.
And again, we must, the root.
If you can hear me, yes, sorry to butt in there. But I'm glad you mentioned the fact that IPOB seems to be in support of the governor's call on the people to not sit at home. And I'm wondering exactly who really is behind the sit at home, because IPOB is saying, kudos to the governor, that they're willing to support, and it actually continues to distance itself from the sit at home. But IPOB also went ahead to say, look, the governor must ensure he does not use force to, get the people to go out about their businesses. Who really is behind the seat at home? And what more does the governor need to do to give people confidence to go out on Mondays?
If we check the origin of this sit at home, it was anchored on one grievance. And the grievance was that the leader of IPOB, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, was held by the Nigerian government. And then even after many court cases and the rest, he was still held in captivity. So to press home the demand, IPOB declared this sit at home on, they first of all started with the days Mazen Nnamdi Kanu goes to court. Then later it was extended to every Monday. But at a point, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu himself said that there was no more sit at home through his lawyer, Mr. Barrister Ejiofor. At one point, that was widely reported in the newspapers. But what happened was that after a while IPOB is saying, let's withdraw this sit at home, some elements went ahead and they ensured that it continued. So what we are saying now, one of the steps, that is the progression to stopping it, has started. But what we can also say is that if the southeastern governor, for example, the governor of Enugu State last week did call on the president and on the Nigerian government to release Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. And I think Professor Charles Oludo of Anambra State has also said that. So it is time for the southeastern governors also to come together to make a case to the new president, President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, to say, look, competent courts of the land has said release this man. ECOWAS court has said release this man. Why are you still holding him? Therefore, if we release this man, Nnamdi Kanu, then it will be a very big step towards all reconciling any aggrieved agitator. Because those who are doing these things are non-state actors. And so if the primary reason why they started it is now nipped in the bud, then we can now start having faster progression towards abolishing it totally, in all totality. And also when someone like Mazen Nnamdi Kanu talks and people hear him there, we can make significant progress in this. So it's a right step in the right direction that we end this sit at home.
Right.
Thank you very much, Ambrose. We most appreciate your time on these nights.